Peace, 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 peace. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, episode number 2 of Thanks for the House with AO. I'm your host, AO. This, of course, is presented by the Ringside Club and part of my fresh. The vibes are live, the vibes are live, the vibes are live. Look alive, man. So hope everybody out there is doing all right. Once again, this is Thanks for the House with AO, presented by the Ringside Club. And before we get started, make sure you go to theringsideclub.com. All of the episodes of our flagship podcast are right there. The video, YouTube, the audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the podcast platforms. Plus, the merch is right there. You get hoodies like this. Part of my fresh. You can hit hats like that. So tap in, man. The holidays are coming up. It's a few buckets that are available. Like this one. Bucket hats available. Bucket hats like this one will soon be available with the small tag, small logo and all that. A couple of winter hats coming up. Those are going to be available pretty soon. And yeah. But of course, thanks for the house. This is where we show a little bit of love to things in the world of pro wrestling. Like episode number 1, which is where I showed love to Sean Waltman. And my belief, rather, that I think he's one of the most influential figures in pro wrestling, like ever, right? So you can check that out. But basically the gist is that all of the things that a lot of people think are cool, a lot of the people that were influential on today's wrestling were influenced by what Sean Waltman brought to the table back in the 90s. So, for example, if you've ever thrown up one of these, right, that Too Sweet, if you've ever done one of those crotch chops, you have Sean Waltman to thank. But you can either do your Googles or you can check out the episode. Once again, it's available on our YouTube. Tap in. This episode is about a few things that I thought were dope from last week that may have been overlooked. A lot of people are talking about what's going on in AEW. A lot of people are obviously talking about what's going on in WWE. But there were 2 shows that I watched last week on Thursday while we were on air. Impact Wrestling, soon to be rebranded as TNA Wrestling Impact. They ran their show, and it was a dope promo on that show that I wanted to highlight. And then there was an incredible match on Friday, I believe. Either Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday. But New Japan had a show. New Japan Strong was called Lone Star. And it was a match on there that I wanted to highlight because although it was about 15 minutes, it's one of the best matches that you're going to see from this year. So that's what we're talking about. Thanks for the house. I'm AO. Let's hit the intro and get this show started.
Peace to the gods, the Ringside Club pod. My name is AO, say you heard around the dawn. Blame Boogie while you at it, blame Chad Law. K-Fabe is dead, break the 4th wall. Whatever style, whether it's lucha or strong style. Come through the beam, you fly, burn the bar down. Back to the pad, chop it up for the par. Ringside Club, intro to the squad as the show starts.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're in business. Peace to the other 3 members of the Ringside Club. Peace to Book, peace to Ron, peace to Chad Law. Once again, tap into our show every Thursday, somewhere between the hours of 9 and 10. We're live everywhere, including X, formerly known as Twitter, over there at the Ringside Club. And, of course, on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We're a couple subscribers away from our first 100, so if you know somebody that might like the show, let them know. But, yeah. Last Thursday, while we were on the air, like I mentioned, Impact was on the air as well. And this week coming, there's a match between Will Ospreay and Josh Alexander. Will Ospreay had a promo, and I'm going to play that promo right here because I thought it was fire. And I want to talk about what I liked about this promo. But let's play the promo in case you haven't seen it, and let's talk about it.
I'm currently standing by with Will Ospreay. Will, you've been undefeated since you arrived here in Impact Wrestling at Bound for Glory, but next week you've got quite the challenge ahead of you. You'll be facing off against a former world champion in Josh Alexander. What are your thoughts?
Wow, former world champion. That's cute. Do you know what? I'm a former world champion too. The IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And sitting on my shoulder right now is the IWGP UK Heavyweight Championship. And I've taken this everywhere, all over the world. You name a promotion, AEW, I've beaten them. Pro Wrestling Noah, beaten them. New Japan, beaten them. And Impact Wrestling, I've beaten them. Now, I'm not even going to lie, right? Josh Alexander, I didn't know who you were before this match, mate. I've heard of your name and everyone says you're good, so I've done my research. My God, you're talented. You're one of the best. You've got all the skills to become one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm here to find out if you're part of that conversation, bruv. Because no one is better than the Billy Goat. You might be a former world champion, bruv. I'm a world beater, my man. Let's see if you've got what it takes to beat the best. Cheerio, mate.
Yeah, man, so that was this past Thursday. That was Will Ospreay. Let me tell you what I liked about that promo. For starters, all of the personality that Will Ospreay brings to the table, and you believe every single word, and then the sarcasm. I'm not familiar with you, Josh Alexander, so I had to do my research. And, yo, you're really, really good, but let's see how good you are. Test yourself against the best. Here's the thing about Will Ospreay. 2023 is absolutely his year. Everybody that's had a match of the year candidate outside of Bryan Danielson, as far as what my two eyes have laid eyes on, what I've actually seen, that match has been with Will Ospreay. So the match that he had, or the two matches with Kenny Omega, the match that Will Ospreay had with Zack Sabre Jr., the matches that he's had pretty much in AEW, like you mentioned, AEW, New Japan, that match with Speedball Mike Bailey that he had with on an Impact show, one of the best matches in the match of the year candidate. So he has all of the right. Yeah, I think he had an incredible match with Michael Oku this year. I think that might have been a Rev Pro deal. The match with Sabre Jr., by the way, that was Rev Pro, New Japan. I forget the name of the show. Royal Quest, I believe, is the name of the show. He has all the right in the world to say that if you think you're one of the best, you got to test yourself against the best. And Josh Alexander, he's still on his comeback journey. He was the Impact champion. He had to vacate the title because of an injury, but now he's back. He's back on the scene. He's trying to reclaim his spot. I can't wait to see this match. I cannot wait to see this match, whether I watch it live or not. In fact, I'm not going to be watching it live. Tap into Chad Law, by the way, because he has his artist, Isaiah Rosario, I believe his name, a little listening event this week. So if you tapped in, you're in the New York area, tri-state area, make sure you follow Chad Law, get all the information about that. But yeah, so I won't watch it live, but it will be DVR'd, or I got the Impact Plus, either or. I'm going to watch that. But that's what see. Promos don't have to be. I think everybody a lot of times confuses a good promo with what you know from, like what The Rock did, for example, where you have these catchphrases. Is what MJF is attempting to do now, where you have all these catchphrases and call and response with the crowd. You don't always have to do that. Whether this promo was in front of the people or was backstage, like we just saw, you believe every word that Will Ospreay said, and it reminded you that this match is happening. And if you were on the fence about watching, you absolutely want to watch after everything that he just said. So I look for Josh Alexander and Will Ospreay to put on a banger, but peace to that man Will Ospreay for putting on a fire promo. That was my promo of the week as far as last week is concerned. Now, moving along, like I mentioned, I'm going to bring this up here. Lone Star Shootout, New Japan. This match here, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Mike Bailey. If you are a listener and a watcher of the Ringside Club in any capacity, you know how I feel about Zack Sabre Jr. He is my favorite pro wrestler, period. And I just mentioned that Mike Bailey had a match of the year candidate with, or match of the year contender, whatever you want to call it, with Will Ospreay, the aforementioned Will Ospreay. This was another one. Both of these guys, the match that Zack Sabre Jr. had with Bryan Danielson, by the way, that's on the list. Mike Bailey and Will Ospreay, that's on the list. So you see these two guys come together. This was for the New Japan World TV Championship. And again, if you know the rules, for this title, 15-minute time limit, and it can end in a draw. And in that case, Sabre will retain that championship. But this match was incredible. This was a sprint, as are many of these New Japan World TV title matches. This was a sprint, and it was incredible. Sidebar, New Japan World, which is their streaming service, they just relaunched. I'm not exactly sure what the date was that they officially relaunched, but I remember a while back when the announcement came in that they were going to be relaunching this November. Well, we're in November. They relaunched. Now the app is available on the phone. I watch on the Roku, which I have going right now. This wasn't available before. You had to like kind of tap into, your computer, do some kind of Google Chrome, stream or whatever your means are. Now this is just as simple as me watching anything on Peacock or Honor Club, Impact Plus, YouTube. It's available there. Download it. Fire. And that's not a plug because they ain't paying me for it. I'm just letting you know what I know now. So this was the first time that I watched New Japan World really on my big screen in the living room. And just for whatever reason, I went to see what the schedule was, and I saw that this was coming up. I forgot that this show was happening. So I'm like, I bet. I know what I'm doing tonight. This match was worth whatever, I think it's $9.99 a month. This match alone is worth the $9.99. Like, I would pay to watch this match for $9.99. Like I mentioned, 1 fall, 15-minute time limit. They had some of the most physical exchanges. Anybody that knows Mike Bailey, he's very like martial arts driven. So there's a lot of kicks, a lot of strikes. And everybody that knows Zack Sabre Jr., he's basically trying to get a submission every 6 seconds. If he has a hold and you haven't given up, he's going to lock in a new hold. There was a hold. I believe this is on the next image. This right here, I call it the Greco-Roman toe lock. He's, ankle locks and knee bars and heel hooks. All of these different moves that you're familiar with that Zack Sabre tries to lock on you to weaken your legs. Speedball Mike Bailey doesn't wear shoes. He doesn't wear wrestling boots. He doesn't wear any kind of boot whatsoever, sneakers, none of that. So his bare feet are out. So Zack Sabre Jr. being the sadist that he is, the violent human being that he is, I'm going to grab your toes, man. I'm going to twist them around. I'm going to try to hurt you that way. Like, just violence. But it was so good. It was so good. And, yeah, just go out of your way. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen the match. Zack Sabre versus Speedball. Just tap in on Honor Club. Make that a priority. So there was that, and then this little piece of art that I caught on Twitter. I just want to shout out the Shining Wizard Designs at Shining Wizard DS on X, formerly known as Twitter. But this came out like a couple of hours right after the match aired. So again, like that'll tell you that people thought that this match was something special. The caption that they left, one among many highlights of last night's, this came out the next day, of last night's Lonestar Shootout. Zack Sabre Jr. Against Mike Bailey. Just 6 seconds left on the clock in defense of his New Japan World TV Championship. This is the moment that he captured and drew and sketched. So shouts to, again, Shining Wizard DS, Shining Wizard Designs on X, formerly known as Twitter. And make sure you catch that. That would, of course, be obviously my match of the week for last week. And then finally wrapping up, thanks for the house. We have this faction right here. This was my angle of the week. So we had a match where Bianca Belair, I believe, teamed with Asuka to face Kairi Sane and Io Sky of Damage CTRL. And basically, classic pro wrestling. Asuka is outside on the apron. Bianca Belair is in trouble. She's in peril. She tries to make the tag. Asuka takes a step down, step back. Bianca can't reach her. She's confused. She pops back up, that being Asuka, hits her with the mist, and then it's all downhill from there for the babyface Bianca Belair. And now we have a 5-member Damage CTRL. We have Asuka, Bailey, the current champ, world champ, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, who's still on the recovery, but she's at least coming out there with the team, and the newly returned to WWE, Kairi Sane, with still the best elbow in the business. Of course, we know the War Games is coming up. Survivor Series is coming up in a few weeks later on this month. But look at this faction. This is strength in numbers. This is fire. I just want to salute that. I thought that was a very effective way of adding Asuka to this group And I really, really hope that they stay together longer, a little bit longer than the War Games match. In fact, whatever the final team is that they're going to be, facing. Obviously, we got Charlotte. Obviously, we have Bianca Belair. I just want this faction here to stay intact because I think that this could be a faction that runs the women's division across pretty much all shows, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT for a little bit. Those tag team championships, by the way. I see, any of the 5 members could be, a tag team. We have the world title already on Io Sky's shoulder right now. So yeah, Damage CTRL. That was my my angle of the week. I thought that was beautifully executed, very, very well executed. So shouts to everybody involved with that. But yeah, this has been Thanks for the House. Thanks to you for tuning in. My name is AO. This is the Ringside Club. Make sure you tap in. I'm not sure exactly because we got a lot of things going on, so we'll move the schedule around. But tap into the social media. We're everywhere. X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram. We're on Threads. We're on TikTok. Make sure you tap in with us on all of those channels. I'm at IamAO Baker, by the way. So any updates on the schedule will let you know. But yeah, hit us up. Catch y'all next time. Peace.